Experts have warned for years about the dark side of the internet, one of the darkest, adults messaging children about sex. A growing number of citizen groups online are doing their own undercover work to try to catch these predators. Similar groups are responsible for at least 2 known arrests in our area over the past 6 months. So are these private investigators heroes, or is it the job that is best left up to those with a badge? WKYT's Garrett Weimer investigates vigilante justice.
They're not Batman, Wonder Woman, or the Avengers. But like formula fiction, a catch often follows a familiar script. The setup, the meetup, and the sting.
We're not cops, the cameras are for safety.
Just as predictable, each video streamed live or posted online racks up thousands of views.
I want to catch pedophiles because they are, I mean, obviously besides murderers, they are the nastiest people on this earth, and they're the least talked about, I would say.
Alex Rosen founded the Predator Poachers in 2019 as a 19-year-old in Houston, Texas. He says his independent investigations and subsequent catches have led to dozens of arrests, including in Kentucky.
Like, I never expected to be a quote-unquote YouTuber. Never really expected this, but obviously, you know, now 3 years later, we're traveling the country and having arrests in 27 states, and this has obviously turned into a very big passion of mine.
It's easy to find more groups like his posting catches of their own, even from right here in Lexington. WKYT has reported arrests stemming from self-described predator hunters in Pulaski and Scott counties.
It's always been about catching bad guys.
And the popularity of these vigilante groups seems to be growing, but not everyone's a fan.
We are aware of them. We've seen them both at the local and the national level.
Matt Hedden is director of the Special Victims Unit in the State Office of the Attorney General. As part of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, he and his highly trained investigators often work with other agencies to conduct undercover sting operations, trying to find predators, get them out from behind their keyboards, and more importantly, off the streets.
There are ways to do things and ways not to do things. We try to always abide by the policies that we've got in place, and that ensures that we make strong cases that will result in convictions.
State police also say they neither encourage nor support groups working independently. Officials worry not just about the potential for compromising ongoing investigations, but also safety.
It's terribly dangerous for these groups to go out and do these type of operations on their own. You know, there's no coordination amongst law enforcement. They're going out and doing it sort of cowboy style, and you know, there is certainly the potential for them or for innocent third parties to get injured or worse.
I don't think anything that they're doing is per se illegal.
Legal experts say in many cases freedom of speech protects these groups' activities, but they can cross into some gray area by how far they go.
To take that next step and actually conduct the investigation themselves has a whole host of problems. And so that's why you're seeing some backlash from law enforcement and prosecutors across the country.
Even after someone's charged, attorneys may be able to raise questions about the evidence collected and whether it's admissible in court.
So there's just a lot more questions that are raised whenever the investigation starts with them rather than with law enforcement.
So I believe that the Commonwealth has met probable cause on that.
A judge in Scott County recently denied a defense attorney's request to dismiss charges in a similar case.
Okay, and I just don't see the distinction. I'm not looking at that and seeing where, you know, there would be reason for me to throw out the case simply because we had an initiating group called the Knoxville Predator Catcher instead of law enforcement.
In Pulaski County, the final test of the Predator Poachers catch will come in a trial scheduled for August. But still, from investigators themselves, a word of warning.
Don't take the law into your own hands.
Despite the good intentions, they say you're better off leaving it to the badge.
I think we do leave it up to them because in the end, we don't have the handcuffs. And, you know, all we're doing is filming a crime being committed. We're calling the cops, we're turning it in. And if they don't want to do anything with it, then why should we leave it up to them?
It's the classic comic book tension.
Hero or unwanted vigilante. How do you think you should be seen?
You know, in the end, it doesn't really matter what their opinion is of me because, you know, there's people that absolutely love me. There's people that will literally copy me and do exactly what I do. Then there's people that hate my guts. And in the end, that doesn't matter. As long as the person I'm confronting is exposed to them.
And a similar hope also pulled from these pages that by the end of the story, justice will be served, however that may look. Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And experts say it is important to talk to your children about the potential dangers they face from strangers online. We have links to several resources, including a cyber safety toolkit and conversation starters for honest discussions with your kids. And you can find those in this story on WKYT.com.